Studies-3. Topic: Effects of liberalization on the economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. Electronics manufacturing in India. One introduction: the Indian electronics industry is one of the largest and fastest growing industries in the world. India has a share of about 1.5% in the world in total electronics hardware production. Two opportunities in India. India offers the 3Ds for business to thrive: democracy, demography, and demand. The growing middle class, rising disposable incomes, declining prices of electronics, and a number of government initiatives have led to a fast-growing market for electronics. Rising labor costs in other markets like China. Business-friendly policies of the government of India and turmoil in certain economies around the globe have created a conducive investment climate in India. India has superior design capabilities and availability of talented workforce at lower wages than China. The electronic system design and manufacturing (ESDM) sector provides lucrative opportunities for investors. The industry has the potential to provide millions of jobs, directly and indirectly. Present status in 2015, the industry in India was valued at $75 billion, despite a weak global economy. India's electronics manufacturing has been unable to respond to the rising demand, thereby increasing the import bill and losing an opportunity to create employment for millions. The demand for mobile phones, iPads, cameras, automobiles, and consumer durables have increased in recent times. The result is that India's electronics import bill has doubled in 5 years to $57 billion. The demand for electronics hardware in the country is projected to increase from $75 billion in 2015 to $400 billion by 2020. Of the country's total demand for electronics, between 50 to 60% of the products and 70 to 80% of the components are imported. Currently, domestic value addition in manufacturing is less than 50% for appliance and consumer electronics. Hence the huge outgo of foreign exchange. If the situation doesn't change, expenses on electronics imports could surpass those on oil imports by 2020. Samsung's biggest mobile phone manufacturing site was opened in Noida recently. For Draft National Policy on Electronics (NPE), the government issued Draft National Policy on Electronics 2018 (NPE 2018) for electronics system design and manufacturing (ESDM) sector of India. It sets ambitious target of creating $400 billion electronics manufacturing industry by 2025, with mobile phone devices segment accounting for 3/4 of production. It aims to promote domestic manufacturing in entire value chain of the SDM sector. Insights Mind Maps. www.insightsinIndia.com page to www.insightses.com. It also aims to double the target of mobile phone production from 500 million units in 2019 to 1 billion by 2025. It also proposes to push development of core competencies in all subsectors of electronics, including electronic components and semiconductors, automotive electronics, defense electronics, industrial electronics, strategic electronics, etc. The government plans to replace the modified special incentive scheme with schemes that it will find easier to implement, such as interest subsidy and credit default guarantee, etc. 20 greenfield and 3 brownfield electronic manufacturing cluster projects have been sanctioned. 5. What made China competitive in electronics manufacturing? Stable and substantial supply chain in China with large economies of scale help China maintain low costs and high margins. Incredible government support the stakeholders received primarily in the form of capital subsidy and relaxation of taxes. It became an export destination for global electronic giants as the country supplied large qualified workers at low wages. However, the low-cost manufacturing tag has started to lose its sheen, making other emerging economies, such as India, Vietnam, and Malaysia, more attractive for investment. 6 government initiatives. The government has listed the electronics industry as a priority sector under Make in India campaign, encouraging domestic manufacturing by providing tax and tariff concessions, investment subsidies, preferential market access in government procurement, and export subsidy. The government has envisioned the policy to substitute the import of electronic products by 2020. Government initiatives like Digital India are providing an impetus to the electronics manufacturing sector. 7 concerns/challenges. It is tough to be globally competitive because of inefficiencies of the Indian system that act at -12% to manufacturing costs. Logistical issues like poor infrastructure, under inverted duty structure. The raw materials attract more import duty than the final products. Foreign direct investment (FDI) in electronics is less than 1% of the total FDI inflow because of onerous labor laws, delays in land acquisition, and the uncertain tax regime. India ranks 146 in the category of trading across borders due to the high costs of compliance. The numerous forms, fees, Inspections and the associated time discourage domestic producers from exporting and keep them out of the international supply chain. Lack of rare earth minerals. China currently dominates the reserves of rare earth minerals. R&D and innovation in electronic manufacturing is lacking in Indian industries. Gateway forward. There's real urgency for the government to move quickly to boost the domestic components industry. Improve cost competitiveness by either lowering the cost of capital or reducing operational costs. Lower input costs will lead to domestic manufacturing becoming cost competitive and commanding the higher share in both the domestic and export markets. Insights Mind Maps. www.insightsinIndia.com Page 3 www.insightses.com. In order to inspire investor confidence, laws need to be liberal and predictable. Establish special economic zones like the Dubai International Financial Center. Dubai's normal civil and commercial laws do not apply in this area. Reforming labor and lands would make India an attractive destination in the global supply chain. Anomalies which discourage domestic manufacture on account of an inverted duty structure need to be rectified. Create 100 design studios for new product